Hey there. Welcome to episode 5 of Idea2Launch. We're in the studio here. I'm your host, Lisa Zufall, and with me today is Sarah Wick.
Hello.
And Maggie Smith from 1Million Cups. And today we are going to go through and talk a little bit about 1Million Cups for those who are not familiar with what it does for our startup community here in St. Paul. And they are expanding, as we were talking about earlier. But before we get started, I want to thank everybody for being here, and I want to especially thank Studio Americana for having us. For those that don't know, Studio Americana is the podcast studio for the Twin Cities metro area. It is a professional studio, as you can see here, and they've been producing our podcasts for you and live on YouTube. So if you have any questions, Ian Levitt is the owner. He's a great guy to get a hold of if you have any questions about getting your own podcast started. And with that, we're going to get started with Maggie from 1Million Cups. Welcome, Maggie. We're so glad you're here.
Glad to be here.
On this beautiful summer day.
It is a beautiful summer day. It's a good way to start a Monday, chatting with you ladies.
Tell us about 1Million Cups if you can. We'll just jump right in.
So it's actually a national program. I'd like to think that we invented it, but we did not. The Kauffman Foundation in Kansas City created this program, and they disseminated it all across the country. So right now, it's in over 100 cities. And the idea is that it happens every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. over, quote-unquote, 1 million cups of coffee.
Right.
It's just an opportunity for entrepreneurs to present their company to a group of like-minded individuals for some really honest, open feedback and discussion. We like to call it Shark Tank without the teeth.
Right. Right.
Very cool. Yeah.
And you get a lot of people in there, and you have it hosted at the James J. Hill Center in St. Paul.
Yep. So we're at the James J. Hill Center, which is the business reference library in downtown St. Paul, right on Rice Park. Every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. We've got a good group of about 40 people who come every week. And each week you'll hear 2 startups who are less than 5 years old kind of talking about what they're doing. It's just a great opportunity for them to get out of their lane and share with the public what they're doing.
Exactly. And we've talked about this before in podcasts. If you have your blinders on and you're doing it all by yourself, you're not getting out there and getting that feedback.
Definitely not.
Yeah, absolutely. We find a lot of people come in and they think they're being really clear and concise because there is a time constraint. It's only an hour long, and each presenter gets a half hour, which includes the feedback. So we say 6 to 10 minute presentations, which is hard for them. And then they find that what they thought was very clear is not clear at all.
Right.
And they're getting a lot of clarification questions instead of like pushing questions, and so they kind of have to go back and rethink. Some of them have renamed their companies after coming.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Wow.
we've had a couple kind of rethink their entire brand strategy because it wasn't resonating.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I know that I presented there,
Yes, you did.
and I couldn't stay within the time constraints.
It's hard
at all.
It's good practice because some investors, if you pitching to investors
Right.
or wherever you're going, are like, I want this fast.
Yeah.
I don't have the time. Other times they want a long presentation, but we're a good practice for the quick.
When you're introducing yourself to any investors or any clients, it's basically the elevator pitch.
Yes.
If you can't sell me on a simple 1 or 2 lines, then you don't know your product that well, and you need to go figure out what you're selling.
Yes, exactly. Or if you're not prepared enough to tell me what your future plans are, who your team is, if you only have your idea, it's not the right time. So we're a really good opportunity for people to practice. We also find a lot of people come with slides just full of words and text, and it's good practice because our audience can also poke holes in their official pitch if they want as well and say, this presentation was sloppy, you need your contact information on the screen, tell your story, not your product, like especially with food and beverage companies, that resonates a little more.
What's your mix right now? Are you seeing a trend right now for the presentations that are coming, or is it just
Good question. We're really agnostic topic-wise, and we let any and everyone in. We're not really seeing an uptick in anything. We've got a pretty good mix of apps, websites, security companies, food and beverage, health, kind of med tech.
Yep.
A few services. I'm trying to think of what's coming up. I mean, the food and beverage ones are always really fun for people because they can really engage, and it covers such a broader audience.
Right.
The Fargo location is just tech focused.
Okay.
The Wilmer and Rochester ones are a little more ag tech and a little more hyper local. We're very agnostic that way.
You
we'll take
guys,
anybody.
St. Paul,
Yeah.
1 Million Cups has
Yes.
been around for years. How many years?
3 years. So 1 Million Cups was created 5 years ago, and the James J. Hill Center applied and became the St. Paul kind of Twin Cities location 3 years ago. We just had our 3-year
Wow.
anniversary 3 days ago.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Because there was a while there where it was moving around to different libraries. And
It was a little bit when we were under construction. We were going to the George Latimer Public Library, which is
Okay.
part of the St. Paul Public
Yep.
Library system. We did a few 1 Million Cups at McAllister so that the Mac startup kids could appreciate and learn kind of what professional entrepreneurs are doing, if you
Right.
will. But now they come to us, which is really fun.
Nice.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So what does it take if I have a great startup that I would like to present at 1 Million Cups?
Yeah.
How do I do that? What does it take? What are we looking for? How do I know when I'm ready?
Well, it's a really easy process to apply. It's all free. The event is free to attend. It's free to present. We're booked about 2 months out, so people need to book in advance and
That's
prepare for
amazing.
that. It's really exciting.
Wow.
Really exciting. You just head to the website, shoot your application through. We're looking for companies that are less than 5 years old. We have allowed some exceptions for established businesses who are creating a new brand, who want to rebrand or are creating a second brand within their existing company. Past ideation, really, if you have an MVP to show people, it's much easier to have a conversation. It's not a brainstorming session.
right.
It's a practice pitch. So those are kind of the big things that I find is if people are just kind of ruminating on an idea, they're not ready for us. If they're beyond us, that's okay too. And we tell them to go, look for other resources. We're definitely kind of that sweet spot early stage.
Great. So you'd kind of touched on presentations having slides with 1 million words on the screen. I don't know if I either have too many words on the screen or too few, I feel like. And I like numbers, which apparently not everybody does. So what are, if you had your top 3 tips for putting together a good visual presentation, because we are such a visual people,
Yep.
what would be a couple of things that people really respond well to, and what would be some things that, Sarah, stop putting giant numbers on your slides?
Biggest thing, people have too many slides, so they're either taking too long to go through them or they're going through them too quickly. So one of the biggest tips we give people, and I would say you can use this for any of your pitches, is have a core of 4 to 6 slides and then have extras for those backup questions when they come. You don't need to show us every graph and every statistic and every reference you've ever made, but you can have those ready if you get those questions asked and you want a visual. If you want to do numbers, that's great. People respond to that, but you need graphs are good versus just text.
Right.
And instead of writing your marketing strategy, show your logo and your product and then talk about the strategy.
Right.
The presentation should not be the biggest tool. You're the tool. You're the one talking. This is just a nice piece.
You're the biggest tool.
Yes.
I like that.
You know what I mean.
Heard that one before. It's an oldie but a goodie.
But the presentation really should be complimentary, not the
Right.
crutch you are standing on.
Right. Right. No, that's
Yep.
excellent.
It's important to be engaging too, decide if you're going to tell your story or your product story, and decide what the audience is going to best respond to. Don't just tell us lists. Don't just dryly go up there and talk about, why you decided to do this. Engage us, engage the audience, be colloquial. It's okay to have a conversation with people and still be professional.
Right. Ask some
Very cool.
questions. Maybe start off with some
Yes.
questions. How
Yep.
many of you have blah, blah, blah?
Yes, exactly. The food ones are always great because they all start with, I never thought I'd be doing this. I just wanted to make granola for my kids and they loved it, so I thought I'd try. And that's kind of a fun, relatable story because I think a lot of times people think the entrepreneurial kind of journey is unique and only special people can be on it.
Right.
But really, it's open to anyone and everyone with an
Yeah.
idea or a problem they think needs to be solved that they can solve.
Or if they've solved the problem for their
Yes.
family and
Yes.
suddenly
Right.
their friends and neighbors are coming and saying, you know what, can you make that for me?
Yes, like why not make a business out of it? It's not just limited to billionaires with, maybe 1 or 2 ideas.
Right. So are there investors in your crowd?
Sometimes, yeah, we've had a couple success stories. We don't kind of flaunt it that way,
Yep.
and neither did the Kauffman Foundation. That was never the intention. It was actually for people who were sort of prepping for the kind of pitch
Right.
to investor
Yep.
stage. But we have had some success stories where investors have been really interested in what they hear and go for it.
That's awesome.
Since it's hosted at the James J. Hill Center, it's a great complement. We have databases that help people find investors that they want to pitch to. So that's been another success story. As we say here, let us help you build this list of investors to go, because a lot of people don't know where to start. Financially, one of the bigger successes we have are when people from crowdfunding sites, banks, and sort of angel fund mentors, if you will, give advice on which path to choose. Because sometimes people just assume they need an investor because they're scared of the other options, and that might not be the right path for them. So it's sort of the advice that ends up being the most helpful.
And where do they connect with those guys? Is it just having you guys help them pull a list?
Yeah, yep, absolutely. We do networking before and after. People are welcome to chat and stay and hang. And that's why we recommend coming every week or at least a few times a month if you can make it, because the crowd's always different. We get different people depending on the topic, so you never know who you'll meet. But because it's always in the library, those databases and those resources are always available.
Right. Just bring your laptop.
Bring your laptop. You can stay all day.
Yeah. And if you don't have one, they have one that you can check out.
Yes,
for
we
free.
do. And we have business librarians to hold your hand and walk you right through it if you need the help.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So give us an example of a really great presentation, something recently that you thought, wow, these guys are going to knock it out of the park.
One I really enjoyed was a company called The Twisted Shrub. And they're a brand. Have you heard of them?
Yep.
They're brand new, relatively brand new. It's a vinegar-based drink mixer. So you can do it with alcohol. You don't have
Sounds
to.
disgusting.
It sounds disgusting.
They're delicious.
It's
a shrub?
Yes,
Fantastic.
the shrub. It's kind of the new hip thing. Scott, who runs the company, says that he could drink, he'll get 2 drinks out of his little bottle, and his wife will get 20 because she just wants a tiny dash and then covers it up with simple syrup and, soda. So, but they were really interesting and fun. He really told his story. And had a really good interaction with the audience, was able to engage them because he was relatable. He had a family, and he also shared his concerns and the challenges. I think when you're able to be a little bit more vulnerable, people respond really well to your product and say, I want to support you because you've come out of this and you've come through some tougher challenges to have this really cool product. So he's a semifinalist in Minnesota Cup.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Very
and
cool.
is doing really well.
And when does that kick off now? So we have the preliminaries where every state, you basically, when you apply, you ante up to be part of this.
For Minnesota Cup?
Yeah.
So actually what the Kauffman Foundation has decided to do was just do one organizer summit instead of regional ones, so that everyone across the country can meet. And now that their communities are expanding, because you've got over 100 cities plus 5 to 7 organizers per city. So it's just a lot of people. So now they're doing one large summit, what I'll be going to at the beginning of September, right after Labor Day.
Okay. And where are they going to have that?
Kansas City. Always in Kansas City. Right. They bring everybody
cool.
close. And it's great because you get to meet people outside of your zone and kind of learn what they're doing and take some hints, take some tips. But you also get to meet people who are close to you. So the closest ones to St. Paul are Wilmer, Rochester, Eau Claire, and Fargo. And it'd be great to build relationships with them.
Right.
Absolutely.
I remember meeting a gentleman at 1 Million Cups.
Yeah.
And he was going for the finalists. And then there was a 1 Million Cups special kind of event where everybody got together to watch him up on stage present with other people for the big check.
Yeah, 1 Million Cups is not just a free event. They do a lot for people across the country. They do this competition called the 1 in a Million.
Okay.
And you shot a 1-minute video of yourself doing your pitch. So again, working on that concise, short pitch. And then Kauffman Foundation ran and did the whole thing. So we had probably 5 people from St. Paul apply and make it onto their site. And then the audience got to vote. So you went to the website and watched all the videos and voted, and then eventually one of them won a check for I think $250,000, and they flew them all to Kansas City for the ceremony.
That's amazing.
Really cool opportunity, and it's got some national reach too. Especially one of the reasons that we are excited about this program is because the website shows all the communities, and you never know who's going to stumble across what you're doing.
Right.
So why not?
And they do that every year?
I believe so. Yeah, it was
million?
brand new last year or 2 years ago.
Okay.
Now I'm losing my timeline, but yeah, they do. And it's just another great way to engage this community. Another reason to apply and join. It's all free.
Do you have to have presented at 1 Million Cups in order to apply to 1 in a Million?
Yes, you have to have applied. You can't be a future presentation. You have to have already presented. And you can present at 1 Million Cups as many times as you like. If you want to come back in 6 months or a year because you have an update and you need different feedback, come back. We'd love to have you. If you start a different company and want to present again, that's great. There's no limit. The only
Awesome.
rule really
Excellent.
is less than 5 years old, so that it's true startups.
How can we support you? How can our startup community, Idea2Launch, and our folks support you?
Great question. I mean, we always love different people to come in attendance and ask those really good questions of people, bringing presenters, sending people our way. But really, we're looking to help you. We want to help everybody by giving them this opportunity and keep the program going. So a strong audience is
Right.
always helpful. But
Well, it's been a fabulous partnership
Yeah.
with you guys, and
Yeah.
I
we're
just
so happy to
appreciate
be
it.
here.
Yeah. It was exciting to me when we started putting together Idea2Launch, mapping out who we really wanted to run alongside.
Yeah.
You guys are on the top of the list because just what you do for the community and those startups and empowering them.
We so appreciate that. And we're just so proud to be a free opportunity. We know
Yeah.
that the financials of being an entrepreneur are stressful and we don't want to add any more burden. We want to help lift that.
Right.
So it's been the coolest thing for me to be a part of too.
How long have you been doing it now?
A year. I've
Okay.
been there 1 year. So I started with the James J. Hill Center, and I'm really lucky where 1 Million Cups is built into my job, so I get to spend as much time as I want on it.
Awesome.
Which is a lot because I really enjoy the program.
Cool.
In a lot of cities, it's run by volunteers only, so they have full-time jobs, and then they spend a few hours a
Wow.
week working on it. So
That's
we're
impressive.
really lucky. Yeah. Yep. So it's fun.
And what did you do before then?
I used to work at the Epilepsy Foundation as a marketing manager, and before that, I worked at Hubbard Broadcasting for a long time. I used to run camera. I edited. I was an intern at Twin Cities Live. I worked in the creative services department. I just kind of bounced around.
That's awesome.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
It's fun. My original background's in media, and that's where I thought I'd be. But here we are. I thought,
And here we are.
and here we are,
So
still
this
doing
feels
media. I'm
like-
still very comfortable here. Yeah,
So this feels like home.
this
Perfect.
does. It's very comfortable. I don't feel uncomfortable at all.
So how can people get a hold of you if they have questions?
You can just shoot me a note or give me a call. All my information's on the James J. Hill website and the 1 Million Cups website.
Okay.
But it's M. Smith. It's very easy to remember. msmith@jjhill.org. Otherwise, shoot me at, LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn.
Or show up at 8
Or
a.m.
just
9
show
o'clock?
up.
Is it 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock on Wednesdays, and you'll see me. I'm there every week giving the intro. So come say hi. Don't be shy.
And if you're a startup that is
Yeah.
looking to apply, go out to the 1 Million Cups. If you
Yep.
need help navigating your way through there,
Yeah.
you can contact Sarah or myself.
Yep.
Or just go directly to Maggie. It's pretty easy,
Yeah.
straightforward. St. Paul, 1 Million Cups.
It's that easy. Yeah. You two are great resources. They should definitely come to you too.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
And we're happy to help them.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Maggie.
Thanks
for
for
coming.
having
This was so much fun.
This was fun.